Professor HFY stood before his diverse classroom of extraterrestrial students, their translucent skin rippling with curiosity. Today marked the arrival of the first human exchange student to their peaceful world of Serenity, 7, where danger was merely a theoretical concept taught in ancient history classes. The human, a young woman named Sarah Chen, walked to the front of the room wearing a bright orange vest. Behind her stood Principal Morgesh, looking thoroughly confused. "Students," Professor HFY began, his three eyes blinking in sequence, "Sarah has volunteered to teach us about something called a fire drill. We are honored to learn about human educational practices." Sarah smiled nervously. "Thanks for having me. So, on Earth, we have these things called emergencies. Natural disasters, fires, dangerous situations. They happen randomly, without warning, and they can kill you really fast." The classroom fell silent. A crystalline being named Klex projected a confused hologram. "Kill? You mean, cease biological function? Permanently?" "Yeah," Sarah said. "That's why we practice. A lot. We do fire drills so when real emergencies happen, we know exactly what to do. Our bodies remember the routine, even if we're scared." Professor HFY consulted his data pad. "On Serenity, 7, we have eliminated all hazards. Our climate is perfectly controlled. Predators were extinct millennia ago. Buildings are constructed from adaptive materials that prevent structural failure. We have not experienced an uncontrolled disaster in 10,000 years." "Exactly," Sarah said. "And you should be grateful for that. But let me show you what a fire drill looks like. Can I have a volunteer group?" 5 students stepped forward eagerly. Sarah positioned them in the classroom. "Okay, pretend this corner is the exit. When I say fire drill, you need to leave the building calmly but quickly. No pushing, but don't waste time either. Stay together as a group." The students looked at each other uncertainly. On Serenity, 7, everyone moved at a meditative pace. "Fire drill!" Sarah shouted. The alien students froze. Then, with mechanical precision, they began walking toward the exit at exactly the same pace they would use to visit the meditation gardens. Sarah facepalmed. "No, no, no. You have maybe 2 minutes before everything burns down. Move." Something in her tone triggered an ancient instinct buried deep in the students' evolutionary DNA, even in aliens, apparently. They quickened their pace. One student, Baku, actually jogged. When they reached the corner, they waited patiently to be organized. "You were supposed to go outside," Sarah exclaimed. "You would all be dead." The classroom erupted in concerned murmurs. Professor HFY's skin turned a worried shade of purple. This human was suggesting their students were vulnerable, genuinely vulnerable, to sudden catastrophe. Over the next hour, Sarah conducted multiple drills. She explained the physics of fire spreading, the psychology of panic, and the necessity of muscle memory. She demonstrated how humans practiced over and over because one mistake could mean death for dozens of people. The alien students practiced evacuation procedures repeatedly. They learned to move quickly without panicking. They identified assembly points. They understood accountability, checking that everyone was present and accounted for. As Sarah concluded her presentation, the classroom was quiet. Klex, the crystalline being, finally spoke. "You practice for something that might never happen, knowing that it could kill you, and you do this regularly, knowingly putting yourselves in a state of stress?" "Yes," Sarah said. "Because when the real emergency comes, and eventually it does, we're ready. The panic doesn't kill us. The confusion doesn't kill us. We know what to do." Principal Morgesh stepped forward, his color shifting from confusion to understanding. "Humans have built something we had not considered necessary. Preparation born from understanding mortality. It's not that complicated," Sarah shrugged. We're fragile creatures on a dangerous planet. We adapt by practicing. By teaching our bodies and minds what to do when everything goes wrong. As Sarah left the classroom, she heard something remarkable, the sound of Serenity 7's emergency sirens beginning their first-ever test activation. Professor HFY was already organizing the students into evacuation lines. Some lessons, it seemed, transcended worlds.